Well, we're here in Baltimore for the first step towards buying a boat. We are here for Trawlerfest, and it is a very gloomy, rainy day today. I think it's going to clear up though, hopefully, and the Trawlerfest doesn't start until 10 a.m. It is, what time is it?
7:35.
7:35, so we have 2.5 hours. So I think we're gonna go get breakfast, and then hopefully by that time the sun will sneak through these clouds, the rain will fade away, and we'll be checking out some boats. That we definitely can't afford.
Push, push, push. No, this one. Good job.
So Trawlerfest is right along the inner harbor here in Baltimore, and we're at an area called Fells Point, which is kind of like I guess a touristy area, but there's a lot of locals here too. But this is the spot to be. There's bars, restaurants. We're getting breakfast here. It's right along the water. You see people running around. It's really nice, and it's a walking distance from our hotel, but because of the rain, we decided to run here, or drive, but it's really, really nice. I think Baltimore gets a bad rep, but this area is beautiful.
The rain looks like it is dissipating.
Yeah,
right in that little
pocket of blue
spot. So.
Here comes the sun.
Blue skies ahead.
Here comes the sun.
Cool.
I say, up there.
We're going to a restaurant called
Blue Moon Cafe. It's a breakfast restaurant. The one we started at originally was an Irish pub, and the menu was not really Wyatt and Poppy approved. So we're pivoting.
Thoughts on Blue Moon?
Blue Moon.
It was okay.
It was okay.
It wasn't bad.
I got higher hopes.
We had higher expectations for it, to be honest. They have a lot of extreme sweet things on the menu, which sound really good at first, but after like the 7th, 8th bite, it can't be that good.
I do feel like that's probably their specialty. It's like the sweet pancakes and French toast,
yeah.
And I mean the options in that category are absolutely outrageous. So I do think that that is where they probably shine.
My expectations of Blue Moon were just a little different, if you know me.
I did get the Cinnabon, and it was loaded with sugar. Too much sugar. Okay.
All right, we're ready to find a boat?
Let's go get a boat. I mean, look at a boat.
We are ready to get a boat. If we could only afford it.
Seriously.
At the boats here. So we've been to a couple boat shows in the past. One of them in particular is the sailboat show in Annapolis, which is a really massive show, but we are not interested in sailing at the moment. We are interested in the power boats. And for our style of boating, a very popular choice is a trawler. So we're here in Baltimore for the Trawlerfest, which is going to be much smaller than the Annapolis sailboat show. But that's okay. Hopefully we'll still get to see a lot of cool boats and get a feel of what it's like to be on a liveaboard. We're gonna be done in an hour. So there's two boats that I'm really excited to see here. One is the Ranger Tug 43CB, which stands for Command Bridge, and then the other one is a Beneteau Swift Trawler. They're kind of out of our price range, obviously, for brand new boats, but if we didn't have a kid, they would be like the perfect boat, in my opinion. But since we have a kid, there's not that much livable space for them to like run around. But let's go check out. We'll start with the Ranger Tug and go from there. So this is a 31-foot Ranger Tug, which is too small for us, but we prefer to start with the smaller boats and work our way up to the larger ones at boat shows. Otherwise, every boat is a disappointment if you start at the bigger ones first. As we make our way through the boats today, one thing you'll notice is the multiple helm stations. Or for you non-boaters out there, it's where the steering wheel is. This has a helm on the command bridge up top on the outside of the boat, as well as one inside the cabin, which would be a nice place to sit while cruising in the rain or cold weather. The only downside to a lower helm is the valuable livable space it takes up, which is something we definitely need traveling with a toddler and a baby. Next up is the Ranger Tug 43CB, which has a whopping price tag of $1.15 million. So it's obviously not going to be ours, but this thing is a beauty. Honestly, if it was just me and Taylor going to do the loop and we had an unlimited budget, this would definitely be our choice. Not something too big, not too small. You can easily single-hand it, meaning easy to dock, and it's got all the bells and whistles. It's only the second boat of the day, but I think it's gonna be
so nice.
My favorite. It's so nice. It just doesn't have a third stateroom, and it doesn't really have that living room space that we're looking for this little guy.
Right? But he likes it. He likes it. Yeah.
Now we're looking at a more traditional style trawler, which is the Legacy 42 Flybridge. A beautiful boat, but there are still two problems. Just like the Ranger Tug 43CB, this one has only 2 staterooms, and it is also quite high. To make it through the Great Loop, you have to clear a fixed bridge that is 19 feet 6 inches, and this thing sits at 21 feet, which is just clearly too tall. From traditional to modern, to me, this next boat doesn't really fall under the trawler category. But the Beneteau Antares 12 is a modern style cruising boat packed with features. Just under 43 feet long, it actually has 3 staterooms with a sleek design. Oh, this is the double bunk, right?
So good. And then it's got that bolster cushion, so you could fill it in if you do want to put a couple in there.
And it's not high, so if he jumped off, he'd be fine. Like, this is perfect. It's so good.
They got that there too.
I know. This is the same. It's like the same. But that's so nice for him because if he's like trying to get out, then he can't hurt himself.
What's the con of this one?
It's a galley.
It's a galley.
Nice galley. We want a living room for little man.
These things are amazing, but it just...
Honestly, it's just storage.
This is nice.
My hair is a wreck.
And no tubs either in the newer boats.
Nice.
There you go. You got a full shower.
Yeah. So this. Whoa! Hydraulics, man. This is nice. All this.
Careful. Yeah, that's nice. And it's able to squeeze 3 staterooms here because it has 3 outboard engines instead of the big diesel engines inside the hull. However, some would argue it's better to have diesels for the Great Loop, which we tend to agree.
What do I think about the Beneteau?
Nice.
Still doesn't check all of our boxes though, so we can't do it. Another thing we realized that a ton of these trawlers have is a ladder or really steep stairs up to the flybridge, which isn't the safest thing for 2 young children, and it's just not realistic for us. Next we have the Beneteau Swift Trawler 48, the first true trawler that we've seen that has 3 staterooms.
It's time for the big one that I am probably going to like the most because it's 48 feet and it's huge and it's beautiful.
I know I've been harping on this, but having 2 kiddos on board under the age of 3, we're definitely going to need additional helping hands, so a 3rd stateroom is a must. Folks have said, well, we could just convert the living room into a sofa bed and have a smaller boat that we could easily single hand, but doing that every day isn't ideal. One thing that we learned traveling in a van is that we need space for full-time travel, and convenience is key when living in small spaces. So having to break down a bed every single day is not something we want to deal with. Again, as much as we love this boat, it's simply not going to work for us with the galley style layout. There's not enough room for the kids to hang out, and not to mention we simply can't afford a $1 million boat.
Well, it's safe to say that the Beneteau 48 has my vote. This boat is literally beautiful.
Next up, this one is just for fun to see how others live on the sea. Meet the massive Celine 60 Classic Explorer. This is a mansion on water. We got a tour of this ship by a fellow Celine owner who has a 53-footer for just him and his wife, and learned about their style of cruising on this type of vessel, who travels to the Bahamas each winter, exploring the islands and sleeping out on the anchor for most of the season. In our opinion, this is too big of a boat for the Great Loop, although people have done it at this size. But with a draft of over 5.5 feet, it sits a little too deep in the water, limiting you on certain areas around the loop. All right, what was the thoughts of the Celine 59 or 60?
Cruise ship was absolutely extraordinarily beautiful. Like, what?
We shouldn't have went on it.
I mean, the kitchen alone was just phenomenal. Phenomenal. And then the bedrooms, oh, the whole thing was beautiful. And the fact that you can get to the top from the inside is a really, really nice touch. That no other trawler, I think, that we would even go on has that. So, that is really, really nice. Whoever owns this boat, Nancy, you got a nice one.
So, we are done with Trawlerfest. It was a good experience. We saw a ton of boats.
So many boats.
Taylor and I just went to a seminar about financing and insuring your boat, which the financing part is going to be tricky since we're self-employed and we don't have a pay stub every week. So that's going to be an interesting one to navigate, but we are a step closer to boat life. A lot to think about. I don't think we found the boat that we want here. Unfortunately, a lot of the boats are like very, very expensive because they're all new here at the boat show, but
they're also not necessarily the perfect layout
for a kid.
Yeah.
But it was good. It was good learning. And now we can go enjoy Baltimore.
So our options for dinner are Dudda's, Alexander's, or the Point at Fells. They're all about a 10-minute walk. Hopefully we can decide on one before we get there. Right. So we checked out Alexander's and we decided to go to the Point on Fells. So we're headed there now, but this area is popping right now. The spot where we were checking out ducks last night is super, super busy along the water, right in front of Admiral's Cup. It's really nice to see so many people out and about. Alright, so change in plans. We walked all the way to the Point, and it has a completely different vibe than the website gives off. So we're going back to Alexander's.
Okay, Alexander served us well. That was good.
Really good.
Mom, was the crab cake
very
good? Cool.
And the Brussels sprouts were good.
So we checked off the seafood for Baltimore, and we had the Maryland crab tater tots.
Those were delicious.
Those were really good.
You know they're good when Taylor says it because she's not the seafood snob by any means. So she likes the seafood tater tots. They're good. Although we didn't find the boat that we're looking for, we did realize what we do and don't want, which is a step in the right direction. But to wrap this trip up, we enjoyed the quality family time and hung out until the sunset along the inner harbor. If you're familiar with boats for the Great Loop and aware of any boats with 3 staterooms, please let us know. Thank you again for being here, and we'll see you next week.